Hi guys, and welcome back to another Madden 19 rebuild. Today, as you can tell by the title, we are going to be doing the Colts. I think this is going to be quite an interesting one, to be perfectly honest, because they have an interesting team, the Colts. They're definitely on the up. They're doing a lot better than people thought they would this season. I mean, Andrew Luck has come back, and he has been absolutely phenomenal this season. I think he could potentially be in MVP talks, but I think since the team overall isn't actually doing that well, he probably won't get there in the end. But yeah, he's been fantastic. So I think if it wasn't also for Mahomes and people playing and Drew Brees playing that well, he'd definitely be up there. But as I said, he's been good. He's 28 with Star Dev, so he's more than likely going to be the guy we use for the entire rebuild. He probably won't go up many ratings, but having a solid 88 overall quarterback is definitely, more than a lot of other teams have anyway. Running back, we got Marlon Mack, I think he's doing pretty well this year, but he's still only a normal dev, 79 overall. He's only 22, so he will upgrade quite easy, but we might look into getting in a different running back. Receiving core definitely needs work. Besides T.Y. Hilton, we've got hardly anything going for us there. Offensive line, it's decent. We've got a lot of youngsters here. We've got Quentin Nelson, obviously, as a rookie, and we have got Braden Smith, who is also a rookie in there, and he's got quick dev as well. So those two guys definitely, we can build around them. Same with Ryan Kelly and Anthony Costanzo. We might keep him. We'll probably look to trade him just because his value is going to be so good. And since he's 30 years old, his overall next year is going to go down quite a lot, probably around to the 80, 79 mark. So he'll only be good for a 1 year, and this isn't really a 1 year rebuild team. Glowinski, he's a potential keep. We'll probably use him for the first year and see where we go from there. But yeah, the team looks pretty good. I'm probably going to change the scheme up just because I don't think West Coast will fit us best. But yeah, offensively, we're pretty good. Ebron and Doyle, a very nice tight end duo there. I'm probably going to keep Eric Ebron. He needs 16,000 to get up, but he's only got normal dev. Jack Doyle, he will be one rating higher considering he has an upgrade point, but he is older and harder to upgrade. But then he does have the Star Dev, so it's a tough one. Out of those two guys, I might keep both. I'm not sure. I might start Doyle and start Ebron as the fullback, maybe. I'm not sure. So we'll see where the team goes from there. But defensively, it's pretty shambolic, to be perfectly honest. We've got only a few good players, but a lot of holes on defense. So I can imagine there's going to be a lot of trading for defenders, or we're just going to have to draft a lot of defense. We've got Malik Hooker. Very, very good free safety. He's only got quick dev, but I can imagine he'll go up fairly fast. He's already nearly up to an 82 overall, but he looks pretty good. Darius Leonard, obviously fantastic. Everyone knows how much of an impact he's making. Hopefully he'll get Defensive Rookie of the Year, and he'll be sort of a mainstay on the team, a staple for this defense. Jabal Sheard as well. I'm probably going to keep him around, even though he's 29. He's the only good defensive end we have, to be honest. We've got Kamoko Tari there, who is a rookie with quick dev, so he's got potential to go up, but D-tackle, we're going to have to trade these guys just because they're old. We've got a little bit of depth in there we can trade, which is good. Cornerbacks, there's nothing much you can say about these guys. Kenny Moore, he'd be a good number 3, maybe in the slot, but since he's our starting number 1 corner, he's only 5'9". That's just not good enough. We're going to definitely have to trade for some guys there if we want any chance of doing well. We've got a lot of depth at safety, which is fairly decent, so I'll probably look to trade some of these guys. I'm not sure exactly where to go with this team, but yeah, let's jump into some trades. I know what we're going to have to do with this team. We're going to probably have to rely on the draft. I can't imagine we'll do that well in the first year. I think we're just going to look to get some overalls better in the first year, win some Rookie of the Year awards or something, and upgrade that way. But yeah, let's jump into some trades and see where the team ends up at. So the first trade we're going to do is pretty much daylight robbery. We're going to get rid of Walker and Moore and a second round for Alvin Kamara off the Saints. So this trade, we're getting rid of Grant, Costanzo and defensive tackle Autry, and we're getting in Myles Garrett. For some reason, the Browns will literally take anyone you offer them in a trade, and this is too good a trade to pass up. So this trade, we're going to get rid of Jacoby Brissett. We're never going to use him anyway, so we might as well get rid of him. Get rid of Kane as well, wide receiver we're never going to use, and we're going to get in Brandon Linder from the Jaguars. Great trade. Probably move him to left tackle, or we might move Ryan Kelly to left tackle. We'll see where we go from there. So this trade, we're going to get rid of Slauson and Lewis, and we're going to get in Dalvin Tomlinson. Moving to defensive tackle seems like a good trade to me. We're going to trade Woods and Hunt, two 31-year-old defensive tackles, both not too good, for Grady Jarrett from the Falcons. I think we got 6 years younger on that one. He has quick dev. Phenomenal trade for us. Going to trade Adams, random right outside backer, and Killings for the first round draft pick from the Lions. Going to trade, not exactly sure on his first name, we're going to trade Good and Hairston for a first round this year from the Bills and a 5th round next year. And I think that might be it for the trades. I mean, we've kept both tight ends. I'm pretty sure we're going to have to re-sign one of them, or if not both of them, at the end of this year. But I can't really get good value for them yet, so I might look to trade them next year. I'll see what they can do as a two-man tandem, but I don't think you need that great a backup tight end. But yeah, this is what the team's going to look like. I mean, we have holes in some spots. We're going to have to sign some players. Defensively, we've got a lot better. We don't have middle linebacker at the moment, so we'll have to look at a free agent there and a free agent right outside. So not sure who's available there. Actually, I might... No, I'm not going to get DRC, just because I don't think this year we're going to do that well, so I don't think it's worth getting him in. We'll get Navarro Bowman, just as a filler for the year, as our middle, and then as our right, we'll get Shane McClellan. Why not? So that's what the team's going to look like. It looks okay. Not fantastic. I mean, the defence is a lot better than it was. Offensively, we're pretty good, so we should do quite well offensively. Defensively is probably where we're going to leak. We don't have too many good receivers. We'll probably look to draft one of them, but the offensive line looks fantastic. Defensively, we're looking pretty good. I think the D-line, the D-line, probably one of the best, if not the best in the league. But secondary, I can't find any good value for corners, to be honest. So we'll be looking to either get a corner or a wide receiver in the draft. But sort of let's jump to the mid-season and see how we're doing at that time. So simming to the mid-season, we're 3-5 and currently bottom of the division. So that was expected. I can't imagine the team's doing that well. We'll see. We have a few upgrade points on the offense, which is nice. Defensively, a lot of players have one, which, fairly decent. And I can imagine towards the end of the year we'll end up getting 2 or 3, which is good. But we'll see. We have to re-sign. I mean, it looked like we had to sign Grady Jarrett. Who else? Vinatieri, Clayton Geathers, Farley, Mike Mitchell. Oh, I didn't look at trading the safeties. That is a mistake. That could cost us some value, but I mean, we might look to re-sign them and trade them next year. See if we can get them in on a cheap and do it that way. But yeah, I'll obviously re-sign Grady Jarrett just because he is, a very good defensive tackle. See if we can get him for a bit cheaper. That looks a fair deal. I mean, we have so much cap room. We could sign these players for a bit more and end up doing it that way. But Vinatieri, we're probably going to let him go just because you can get a kicker so much easier and cheaper than that in free agency. But yeah, I'll sign these guys and then we'll jump to the end of the season. So simming to the end of the year, it looks like, unfortunately, we didn't make the playoffs. But, I mean, we went 7-9, which is okay. I mean, that's sort of very middle of the road. We're in a very hard division, actually, against the Jags and the Texans. So I'll take that. But it's very middle of the road. We're not going to have that high a draft pick. We didn't actually... I think we traded for 1 or 2 other draft picks. So hopefully those guys, didn't do very well. And we can get high draft picks that way. But let's look at the stats. See how the team did. Andrew Luck looks like he did pretty decently. Offensively 14th and defensively 26th. So defensively that's pretty terrible. But Andrew Luck, 29 touchdowns, 10 picks with 4,200 yards. It's a fairly decent year. Rushing, Alvin Kamara with it. That's a decent year as well, to be fair. Yards per carry, 4.5, 1,200 yards with 6 touchdowns. And Marlon Mack coming in with 5 as our backup. Receiving, a lot of guys on 800. So 800 for T.Y. Hilton, Jack Doyle, and Eric Ebron. So having those 2 guys as a tight end duo seems to actually be doing pretty well, considering they got 14 touchdowns between them. We've got Dontre Ullman in there as well, and Alvin Kamara with nearly 600 receiving yards. So he had a very good year, actually, looking at it. So hopefully maybe next year or the year after he'll be sort of in the MVP conversation. Line blocking, okay. Darius Leonard with over 100 tackles, nearly 110, and also 3.5 sacks and 2 picks. So that could be Defensive Rookie of the Year. Tackles for loss, 19 for Grady Jarrett, 16 for Myles Garrett. Dalvin Tomlinson and Jabal Sheard both with double figures in there as well. Sacks, Myles Garrett leads for 7.5. I'd expect him to get a few more, but I'll take that considering our secondary is so bad. Getting sacks probably is quite difficult. Picks, Kenny Moore got 3, Malik Hooker got 2, Quincy Wilson got 2, got 2, and Darius Leonard got 2. So that's not too bad, to be honest. I thought the secondary would be worse than that, not getting that many picks. A lot of forced fumbles, one from a lot of guys, and a defensive touchdown from Kenny Moore. So being our number 1 corner, he seems to have done fairly decently, actually. Yearly awards. Let's see if we manage to get any of these. Drew Brees ends up winning MVP there. Are any of our guys on the list? Wouldn't expect them to be. Andrew Luck in at number 8 for Offensive Player of the Year. Not too bad. Defensive Player of the Year. No one in there. Miles Jack comes in at number 1. We did try and look to trade for him or CJ Mosley, but those two guys are just so hard and valuable to trade for. Baker Mayfield wins Offensive Rookie of the Year for the 8-8 Browns. A lot of Broncos and Browns on that list, actually. Defensive Rookie of the Year, Jerome Baker ends up winning over Darius Leonard. That is very disappointing because that would have got him up quite a lot of overalls. But yeah, unfortunately, no awards for our guys there. Nope, no receivers. Best O-line. Do we have anyone in there? Nope. Best D-line. Myles Garrett's in there. Bit unfortunate we don't get any awards. We'll see sort of what upgrades the team has got. See if we can get anyone up a few overalls and just see what the team's looking like at the end of the year. Quentin Nelson has 2. That's not too bad. He didn't make the Pro Bowl, I'm guessing. Unfortunately, he didn't. But, 2 overalls means next year he probably should. Alvin Kamara, unfortunately, no extra points. Eric Ebron with 1. Defensively, 4 from Malik Hooker. Did he make a Pro Bowl then? I mean, he must have. Yep, Pro Bowl. Does that... Oh, he didn't get a rating boost. He's still quick dev. That's a bit unfortunate. Kenny Moore in there with 3 as well. So he's looking like he could be a good number 2. I mean, he made a Pro Bowl when he got a quick dev. So I think our number 2 corner at least will be good for him in there. Myles Garrett with 3. Still got that superstar dev. Guessing he made the Pro Bowl as well. So we got a fair few Pro Bowlers. Clayton Geathers in there. Didn't get 1 all year, I don't think. And Darius Leonard only with 1. That is very disappointing. Did you expect him to get more than that, considering just how good a player he is? But yeah, we'll jump into free agency and see who we can pick up there. So the Rams did up winning the Super Bowl against the Steelers. But going into free agency, we have the most money. I'm sure we have the most money out of any team with 64 million there. And see if there's anyone good. Sheldon Richardson's okay. He's a little bit old and he's getting massively overpaid, so we're not going to go for him. Or Tevin Coleman. William Hayes, too old. Trevor Williams, I think we're going to get him in just because at worst he'll be a number 2 corner for us. So we'll give him a decent deal in there. Should be enough to get him. 94. Okay, we need to give him a little bit more. But he's a guy we're going to be looking to pick up. So our draft was pretty good, to be perfectly honest. We got Marquise Banks in the first round. I think he was first in the combine at everything out of the middle backers. He's got quick dev. He's 78, so he should be fairly decent for us, considering we haven't got another middle linebacker at the moment. We also got Jocelyn Kaler, who looks very good as well. I think he was actually quick dev as well, so he'll slot in very nicely at right guard for us. We got Joseph Harline, star dev, quarterback. I mean, we're probably going to use him as a trade piece to get someone else to fill out maybe a cornerback slot or something like that. But he does look very good. His throw power's good. His accuracy's not fantastic, so he's not going to start over Andrew Luck. But he does look pretty good. And we also got Charles Carman in the 3rd round, star dev. He'll be a very good backup to Alvin Kamara, and we'll look to trade a lot of our depth guys this year. So the team, it'll be looking okay. I mean, we'll sim through to next year, but the team, it looks good. I mean, since we're in the same division as the Jags, it's going to be pretty hard just to get to the playoffs. But overall, offensive line, fantastic. I mean, we've got sort of mid-80s to high 80s for these guys. Wide receiver, we definitely need someone. We've got Ebron starting as a fullback, but he's also the backup tight end. I think, did Jack Doyle regress one? He's 29 years old, and he regressed to quick dev as well. I mean, that is disappointing. But yeah, the team offensively very good with some added receivers in there. we'll definitely be looking at one of the best offences overall in the league, actually. Defensively, D-line, I'm expecting more this year. Linebackers, since we have better linebackers, we'll look to improve the secondary a little bit as well. Kenny Moore did all right, but we definitely need that number one receiver. So we'll jump into some trades and see who we can get. So the first trade of the year, and it is a big one. We're going to get rid of Harline, Glowinski, and Quincy Wilson, and we're going to get in Odell Beckham Jr. Okay, so the final trade we're going to do is we're going to get rid of Farley and Marlon Mack for a Woozy from the Cowboys. I mean, that's the only guy I could pick up who our guys sort of generated any interest from. So we're up to a 93 offense. I think we're going to start Ebron and have Jack Doyle as the backup. Or Jack Doyle maybe... Actually, yeah. We'll do it this way around. And then we'll have Doyle as the starting fullback. Just because he's a fairly good blocker. Offensive line, fantastic. Probably one of the best, if not the best in the league. Receiving core is now absolutely amazing. I might play T. White in the slot when we're in a 3-receiver package. But Odell is number one. He should get a lot of yards. Combined with Alvin Kamara as running back and Andrew Luck in there. The offense should not be a problem. Defensively might be where we have the issues because cornerback, we aren't fantastic. Safety, we're okay at best. And linebackers, we're decent. But I'm relying on the defensive line to get us through. So I don't think we need any free agents. I'll sort of sort out the depth chart and stuff. And yeah, let's jump to the mid-season from there. So going into the mid-season mark, last game against the Texans was a tie. And we're top of the division at 5-2-1. The Jaguars have slipped up, which gives us the chance to maybe make the playoffs. They seem to have a bad first half of the season, but you never know what will happen in the second half. But with this receiving core, I'm sure we're doing pretty well. Going to keep Harmon as the number 2 running back in there. Defensively, pretty much everyone has an experience point, so we're doing okay on that front. I was hoping our middle linebacker, who we picked up in the first round, Marquise Banks, would have more than one, but unfortunately he doesn't. I mean, I think the quick dev will massively affect that in the future, but he needs quite a lot to upgrade. So, I mean, we're 5-2. Let's see if we have to re-sign. We have to sign Ebron. We're definitely going to re-sign him back just because Jack Doyle is sort of... I mean, they both want the same money. It's a difficult one. We have a lot of cap room, so I probably will sign both of them. I don't know. What would you guys do in this situation? Let me know down in the comments who you would have signed. But we're going to sign Ebron just because he is a very good tight end. And then Doyle, I think we'll probably sign him as well, even though he wants a 4-year. We'll lowball him and see if he'll take a really low offer, because I think he is starting for us with Ebron at fullback, but yeah, we're gonna have to give him more money. I think I might do that just considering the cap room we have. We might as well. So I think we've got Andrew Luck tied up for a little while. Jamal Sheard, we're gonna offer a 3-year and just keep him at that. He'll probably go down at the end of the year a little bit, but he's still a very good player. Ryan Kelly, we'll sign him to a nice big deal just because he is one of the best centres in the league at the moment. And he wants more money, unfortunately. Kenny Moore, he's up to quick dev. We're going to have to sign him back. We'll give him a nice long deal because at worst he'll be our number 3. $2 million a year. If he takes that, fantastic. Sanchez, for a punter, he's not worth that much. I mean, we'll give him a low offer, see if he takes that. If he does, fine. If not, we'll get a punter in free agency. So yeah, we'll get one in free agency. But they're the signings for this year. Jack Doyle, I'll wait till the end of the year and see how he does and maybe bring him back. But overall, pretty happy with how the team's performing. See if we can make the playoffs. We'll upgrade some players. Yeah, I'll spend my coach XP. Not exactly sure what on. Probably linebackers, actually. Linebacker is probably a good one to go for. And the scouting. And yeah, we'll jump to the end of the year, see how the team's performing, and see if it's worth re-signing Jack Doyle. So assuming to the end of the year, we did make the playoffs and we're through to the wild card. We actually ended up winning the division due to the tie with the Texans. The Jaguars came strong in the second half of the year, but we did win the division. I'm guessing we got a yearly award or something in there. Luck must have played well. I mean, offensively we must have been very good because for some reason the defense never seems to show up that well. Third offensively in yards. Defensively 7th, so he actually did pretty well in sort of every position there. So Andrew Luck, 31 touchdowns and only 4 picks, as well as 4,200 yards. That's a great year from him. Rushing, Alvin Kamara with nearly 1,411 touchdowns, no fumbles, 50 broken tackles. That is a great year in there. Nakeem Hines and Harmon did okay in their backup spots. As to be fair, under 3 yards per carry is pretty awful, but nearly 5 for Alvin Kamara sort of dragged the team up there. Odell Beckham, pretty good year with nearly 1,000 yards and 3 touchdowns. Jack Doyle with 800 yards and 7 touchdowns in there. And T.Y. Hilton, 12 touchdowns and over 1,000 yards. So it could potentially be a Pro Bowl for him. Pretty, not as good as I actually thought the receiving core was going to be. Eric Ebron I think we're going to have to take him over Jack Doyle. It's a good year from Jack Doyle. Don't get me wrong, 800 yards is good. But I think if we're going with receiving for tight ends, Ebron will be better in there. Blocking, okay. Actually, it's a fairly decent year. Quentin Nelson gave up seven sacks, which is unfortunate. Jocelyn Kaler, our rookie, only gave up 1. That is a very good year from him. Defensively, Malik Hooker led the team in tackles with Marquise Banks coming in second there. Tackles for loss, 15 from Myles Garrett, 14 from Grady Jarrett and 13 from Jabal Sheard. Sacks, it looks like we got 10.5 from Jabal Sheard and 9.5 from Myles Garrett. Okay, I was still expecting a bit more on that, but that's still, decent sack numbers for the team. Darius Leonard also had 4.5 in there. Chidobe Awuzie comes in with 4 picks. Marquise Banks with 3. That could be Rookie of the Year. We'll have to wait and see. Malik Cook with 2, Kenny Moore with 2, and Clayton Geathers with 2. So, turnovers, this team seems to be doing pretty damn well. Forced fumbles, Jabal Sheard and Darius Leonard with 2, and 1 for Marquise Banks in there as well. Defensive touchdowns, we might have got 1 considering all the picks. We didn't. So we'll look at the awards we ended up getting. I'm not sure. 10-5 is a good record, but if we're 3rd best offense, we'd expect us to be a little bit higher. A higher record than that. But Andrew Luck comes in 7th here. I thought Alvin Kamara would probably come in there. Unfortunately, he doesn't. We get 3rd and 4th on Offensive Player of the Year. Over there, defensively, Malik Hooker wins Defensive Player of the Year. That is surprising. I didn't expect him to get that. Marquise Banks comes in 8th. Can't see any other rookies on there, so I'm guessing he won the Rookie of the Year. Harmon, who barely played, gets 6th on Offensive Rookie. And Defensive Rookie is Marquise Banks. That is fantastic. So he should have a lot of points in there. Hopefully he made a Pro Bowl and got a dev trait increase as well. Alvin Kamara wins Running Back of the Year. Receivers, we have T.Y. Hilton at number 3. Odell actually didn't make it, which is a bit surprising. Offensive line, Quentin Nelson, Ryan Kelly and Brian Linder in there. D-line, Jabal Sheard comes in 2nd, so giving him that extension seems like a good deal now. Myles Garrett also on there. Linebackers, Marquise Banks come in. Very good draft pick, and Awuzie comes in best DB. I was thinking of getting William Jackson actually, but we couldn't seem to put a deal together for that. So we'll see what upgrades the team have. We've got the Browns in our wildcard game, so that's probably going to be quite a tricky one. Ebron has a point in there. Jack Doyle playing on confidence is up to 88. A lot of people with 1. Harmon with 2 in there. Star Dev makes such a difference, and I think he was really young as well. So he only needs 4,000 experience to go up. So he could, if we started him, he could have actually gone up a lot of overalls. But a lot of points on our offense there. Defensively, Malik Hooker with 6. He must have got Star Dev then. He must have. He's still only at Quick Dev. He's Defensive Player of the Year and a Pro Bowl, and he's still only at Quick Dev. But he'll go up to the mid-90s. Cornerback wise, all the guys have 1 point in there. Defensive line, everyone has 1 point. And Marquise Banks only has 2, unfortunately. Hopefully he got a... Wait, it's saying he didn't win Defensive Rookie of the Year, when he definitely did. Oh no, sorry, it is there. Defensive Rookie of the Year. He just got barely any experience for it. But we'll upgrade these guys, and I'll show you sort of what their stats are looking like. And then we'll play against the Browns. So with the upgraded team, we are now up to a 90 overall, 97 offense, 91 defense. Offensively, a lot of that is down to how good the line is. The line is pretty fantastic. Quentin Nelson's up to a 91. I mean, he always gets upgraded or goes up to a really high overall pretty fast. But as you can see, he looks absolutely fantastic. And defensively, our best player, besides Myles Garrett, obviously, I think he's up to a 90. Yeah, he's up to a 98. He's gone down to Star Dev. I'm not sure why. He had a fairly decent year. But besides that, Awuzie, he's down to a normal. I get how it does it, as I always say, I get how it does it, but it just seems ridiculous to me. But yeah, Malik Hook is up to a 95 overall with confidence, 97 zone coverage. I mean, he just looks absolutely fantastic. He's only 79 hit power, but he does look like probably one of the best, if not the best, free safety in the league at the moment. He's ranked 3rd, according to the analysis point over there. But let's jump into the game against the Browns, see what their overall is. They're probably around low 80s, mid 80s, so... Yep, they're mid-80s. They're 85. We're 90. Hopefully, you know, this should be a fairly simple win. But then, they are very good in sim. So going into the game against the Browns, they start off on offense. We get a nice little turnover and we got up 7-0. They're driving down the field and we actually managed to stop them from scoring whatsoever. I mean, the team's looking fairly decent. We got a field goal. We actually make it, which is always good. It's a bit of a back and forth game. They get the touchdown. Hopefully we can end up pulling away here. We can't. They end up scoring. And unfortunately, we actually managed to turn the ball over. And we managed to get a touchdown. So we're up 17-14. Very close game. I expected us to be ahead by probably 2 possessions at this point. But we're actually down by 4, which is very disappointing. It looks like they're going to score again here. Fortunately they don't. It's a 3rd down. We're in the red zone. It's towards the end of the game. We end up getting the touchdown. I mean, that is very, very nice. Oh, they end up scoring with barely anything left. I'm gonna jump in just because I think we need this win, if I'm being honest. We deserve this win anyway. The win. Actually, looking at the stats, it looks like we did. And Alvin Kamara did okay. Odell Beckham, not as good as I would have hoped. It looks like the Browns statistically did deserve that, but I mean... Luckily, we got the win. I mean, we were 5 overalls higher, so we should have. So going into the divisional game, we're actually against the Bengals. That's going to be quite a hard game. I can imagine they're a decent overall now. They have quite a few good players. So we'll go into the moments, see if we can actually end up winning this one. Oh, they're only a 79. I mean, this should be a very simple, easy win, but you never know with sim. So let's see. So going up against the Bengals here, hopefully, you know, we can just get a nice... easy win. Looks like we can't. I thought we'd, score on pretty much every possession, and they end up going up 3-0, and we just simply can't score, which is ridiculous considering we're a 90 overall to their 79. It should be a really easy win. It's 9-7. It looks like they're going to score yet again. We just cannot score. It's just, I don't know how this happens. We're down 14-16. They're probably going to get another touchdown. They do. And we turn the ball over again. 26-14. We just can't score. It's a 3rd down. I think, is it our 3rd down or theirs? It looks like it's ours. So, 3rd and 10. I mean, they need to change the sim. If you're 11 overalls higher than the team, I know there's any given Sunday, but that is just ridiculous. We should be winning pretty handily. And that's the end of that. We got absolutely pummeled by the Bengals. Just a ridiculous game, to be honest. So let's jump forward into the draft. So through the draft, we didn't have a great draft. We had a pretty average draft, if I'm being honest. Got a decent left tackle in the 5th round there, but besides that, all our talents probably not starting caliber. I mean, the left end, Haynes, Parmeel's okay, but overall, nothing too great for us from the draft. There weren't too many potential picks we could have made. Maybe a cornerback, and we could have used, I suppose, another cornerback in there, but Deshaun Jeffrey looks fairly decent with quick dev there, as does Howard Garrett. Both of them actually don't fit the zone scheme chem though, so I'm hoping it won't be too big a miss on the draft picks there. But I think the next year is going to be our final year, just because we're already up to a ridiculous overall. We got into the playoffs once. I think this is going to be our final chance to maybe get a Super Bowl. Keep this to a 3-year, because the video's already going to be pretty long, I think. The recording time for this one we're already up to 2.5 hours. So I'm going to probably sim through the entire next season and just go straight to the playoffs if we're in there. And going through to the playoffs, moment of truth. Are we going to make it? It looks like we did. And we did it 14-2. So that is a great year for the team. Seems like a lot of people got upgrade points. That's a few offensive linemen in the Pro Bowl, I'm guessing. On defence, also a few guys with a fair few points. So we're already up to a 90 overall. We've got a lot of points to spend. So let's check out the stats. Hopefully, the team performs pretty well. And Andrew Luck had a good year. Over 4,000 yards, 40 touchdowns to 6 picks. That is a phenomenal touchdown to interception ratio. Alvin Kamara there with 1,400 yards and 13 touchdowns. Him and Austin Eckler. Great little combo in there. Odell Beckham with over 1,000 yards. And Eric Ebron with nearly 900 in there as well. And Chester Rogers actually getting a fair few. So T.Y. Hilton, ridiculously, was our worst performer. O-line performing brilliantly, and on defence, Marquise Banks doing very well. Even managed to get a sack to his name, and Preston Smith also got 8 sacks. And Myles Garrett and Jabal Sheard between them managed to get 38 sacks. That's phenomenal. Both of them got over a sack a game. I mean, Jabal Sheard, there was a reason I kept him in the team, and clearly it's paid off. Him and Myles Garrett, the best end duo in the league there. And even our outside backers got about 10 sacks each anyway. Darius Leonard got 9.5 and Preston Smith got 8.5. So that we must have been putting pressure on the quarterback like nobody's business in there. Not many picks to speak of, but we were getting so many sacks it was pretty impossible for the quarterback to get any time on the ball whatsoever. But overall, the team, defensively, that must be first. Offensively, we're 5th in the NFL, and defensively, we are first. That's got to be first by quite a long way, considering the amount of sacks we managed to get. Andrew Luck comes in 2nd in the MVP race to the Bills, led by Drew Brees. I mean, that's not what you'd expect. I mean, 3 years from now, imagine the Bills being led out by Drew Brees and him winning an MVP. I mean, it's fair play to them. 4 of our players come in the Defensive Player of the Year lineup, but also a lot of Bills. Seems like they got Leonard Floyd in there, so it seems like they got a lot of, got a lot done in free agency. So fair play to them for turning it around, almost the same as we have. No awards for us, unfortunately, so far. Wide receiver Odell's in there. Quentin Nelson wins best O-lineman with our other guys all in the top 10, which is fantastic. And Jabal Sheard and Myles Garrett share the award for top D lineman in the NFL. That might be the best performance I've ever seen from, let alone one, but both defensive linemen. 38 sacks between them is ridiculous. I mean, I can't believe how well they've performed, if I'm being honest. So that's got to be a Pro Bowl for a hell of a lot of the players. So this will probably be the last time we see the players see what development they've got. Jabal Sheard is still at an 86 with confidence, still got star dev. He will have made that Pro Bowl. He's the sack leader and defensive lineman of the year. Barely any XP for that, which is ridiculous, but he's pretty old now, so he's not going to be going up in overall. Myles Garrett is also up to a 99. Gone down to star dev, unfortunately, but he did make another Pro Bowl. I can imagine Malik Hooker's in a Pro Bowl as well there, as will our... Maybe our middle linebacker will be as well. Maybe Banks will be in a Pro Bowl. But the team, phenomenal. Let's just upgrade all the guys and sort of see what we're looking at. Quentin Nelson, Braden Smith both have 4 points. So that is a Pro Bowl for them as well. I mean, they're actually a really good little duo. I mean, Braden Smith might be someone who I trade for in a few of my future rebuilds because he seems to be very good right tackle. He's held down that side of the line very well. The offensive line, probably the best. Well, I know I always try and build the offensive line pretty well, but this looks like one of the best ones we've ever had, considering we have a 14-2 season. Alvin Kamara's up to a 97 with confidence. The team, we just have so many good star players. We could use a star number 1 corner, but our D-line and our linebacker core more than make up for that. Malik Hooker's looking absolutely phenomenal. Gone down to normal dev, not exactly sure why, and he didn't make a Pro Bowl. But besides that, he's the best free safety in the league now, I think, at this point in the rebuild. Marquise Banks does look fairly good as well. Could potentially, be in the high 80s. Darius Leonard also could maybe make it into the 90s, but his dev trait's been going down and down and down. But he is still an 89. So this team, we should beat any team we face. I mean, after what happened last year in the sim, anything is possible, but I mean, we should beat any team we're up against. We're going to be a higher overall than them. So let's jump into the first playoff game. So the first game here against the Chiefs. I'm really expecting us to win this one, considering they went 8-8 and we went 14-2. This should be a game where I'm guessing we're not going to give up many defensive or many touchdowns or anything for the Chiefs offense. And offensively, we actually moved the ball quite well as well. So saying that, we're down 14-0. We do pull it back just before the half, luckily, to 14-7. And I think we got the ball at half. Couldn't do anything with it, unfortunately. But I'll take the field. Okay, we're not going to take the field goal. We're going to go for the touchdown. Trust in Andrew Luck. Believe in Andrew Luck. And he's brought this game back. And we're ahead 21-17. Hopefully we can get something there. And it's 28-17. Not sure how we scored that one. Looks like we could potentially get another touchdown in there. We're going to run out the clock a little bit, take the field goal, and we will end the game winners 31-24. Let's jump into the next playoff game. Hopefully we can keep the run going. So the next playoff game, we are against the Bills with MVP Drew Brees at the helm. So they're probably going to be a fairly good team. And as you can see, they score on their first drive with absolute ease, giving them a 7-3 lead. Very back and forth game. I mean, our defence is very hard to score against, and our offence should be scoring a little bit more, you would think. But the Bills are ahead 14-10. Just as I say that, we managed to take the lead back 17-14. Looks like they are going to score though, and they do, to make it 21-17. Very close game. We score in the dying seconds. For some reason, they punted it, and it was actually in the third quarter, not the fourth quarter. That is my bad there. We're ahead by 10, ahead by 3. Looks like we're going to run the clock out, and we do. We managed to win the game 31-28. We're going to go to the AFC Championship game. I mean, hopefully we can win this one. I'm not sure who we'll be up against, but either way, it's the furthest we've got. We should get to the Super Bowl, so hopefully we do. So I forgot we actually only needed to play 2 games to get into the Super Bowl, and we're actually against the Rams. So this could go either way. I mean, if we win, fair enough. If we don't win, you know, we're beaten by the Rams, probably the best sim team in the game. They always manage to stay as one of the top teams, and that is why they have Todd Gurley, who is an absolute beast in the sim. But we know we're locking heads with them. We're doing all right. It's 18-21 at the moment. We're down by 3. Looks like they're going to score. They don't, but we actually end up punting on our next possession. It's pretty much a punt battle at the moment. They get a field goal to make it a 6-point game, so a field goal won't do it for us. They're going to go on it. I think they went for it. I'm not exactly sure what happened there. 26 seconds left. I'm going to jump in just to see if I can get something done here. Hopefully we can. Clock's ticking down. I'm going to pass it, obviously. Only 17 yards needed. We do have a timeout, so we can go for a pass. And the clock has just gone. And I can't pick a play. This game is ridiculous sometimes. I mean, the clock literally just disappeared. For some reason there. We couldn't use a timeout. The game wouldn't let us. So I'm going to call it a rebuild there. I'm just a bit frustrated with the game today. It's just been a bit ridiculous. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed the video. If you have, drop a like, and I'll see you soon.